as a continent has now defined ourselves.
Hello, welcome to TOS TV, your digital-first Pan-African network. I am Nkamiong John, and this is TOS News 360. We move straight to developments where 424 more Nigerians stranded in Saudi Arabia have arrived in Abuja this Friday. Now, the chairman, Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, made this known via her Twitter handle. 424 more Nigerians stranded in Saudi Arabia have arrived in Nigeria. They will proceed on mandatory 14 days quarantine. We appeal to Nigerians to desist from illegal immigration, she tweeted. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs had disclosed on Wednesday that 802 Nigerians would return from Saudi Arabia on Thursday and Friday. It said the citizens who were held at various detention centers over migration issues would be received at the NAIA by MFA officials. It also said the returnees would be quarantined at the Federal Capital Territory Hajj camp for 14 days in line with the COVID-19 protocols. Now, as an aid to counterinsurgency operations in the northeastern part of Nigeria, restore civilian authority in areas affected by Boko Haram insurgency, the United States Embassy has donated the sum of $325,000 worth of equipment to the Nigerian police force. The Office of the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, INL, of the U.S. Embassy initiated the donation. Now, for the 500 officers of the mobile police force currently serving in Borno State, INL provided bulletproof protective vests, bulletproof helmets, goggles, and 20 ballistic shields. Other equipments include a tent, mosquito nets, first aid boxes, heavy-duty flashlights, foldable mattresses, and other hygiene products were also provided. While presenting the equipment to the Commissioner of Police, Akera Yunus Mohammed, who represented the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, at the function, the INL Director, James Jewett, stated that the equipment will be transferred to the Mobile Patrol Division of the Nigerian Police Force officers assigned to Borno State. The Oyo State government has inaugurated a 9-man steering committee on COVID-19 recovery to investigate the damage the pandemic caused to economic activities of the state. Now, the committee was launched by State Governor Seyi Makinde on Thursday, named Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program, State Cares. The governor added that the committee would look into economic recovery for the state post-COVID-19, citing support and services for the poor and vulnerable. He said, and I quote, "We want to increase access to basic services such as health care, care for the poor and the vulnerable households within the state. Also, we want to strengthen the food supply chain for the poor households because we know that once we are able to tackle hunger, people are able to think correctly," Makinde stated. He revealed that the state government donated farm inputs to farmers to increase fruit production across the state. And he was quoted as saying, and I quote, "We also came up with the 1 billion naira MSMEs fund to provide credit at a single-digit interest rate to MSMEs in the state," he added. We hear that the federal government has said that its partnership with the private sector in the area of sugar production will promote competition, productivity, profitability, and sustainability in the industry. This was disclosed by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otuba Adeniyi Adebayo, at the inauguration of the Nigeria Sugar Institute, Ifelodun local government area of Kwara State. Adebayo said, and I quote, "The government therefore recognizes the need to deepen its partnership with the private sector to drive access to skills development, research and development." Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Sugar Institute, NSI, Dr. Lateef Busari, said that the objectives of the institute would be to boost the development of human resources required for the Nigerian sugar industry, also to tap into new technologies and innovate approaches as they emerge for the benefit of the industry. Now, confusion trailed the public hearing of the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, on Thursday, January 28, in Abuja, the House of Representatives, when members of host communities producing oil and gas in Nigeria broke into a fight, causing a rowdy session. The fight broke when an Ishekiri representative of the host community from Niger Delta was invited to make a presentation at the public hearing, but was stunned by other members present, resulting in a throw of blows. Now, the Petroleum Industry Bill, we just passed second reading in a piece of legislation that, amongst other things, aims to institutionalize and ensure ease of doing business in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, as well as help the country maximize benefits from the sector. The bill, however, has lingered in the National Assembly for close to 2 decades, with previous assemblies failing to pass legislation. Now, critically analyzing the subject of capturing and protecting the interest of host communities with the bill, Honorable Ken Robinson, National Publicity Secretary, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, who was a guest on TOS TV's The Conversation, opted that the current petroleum industry bill will do nothing to improve the state or condition of the Niger Delta, as well as protect the interest of its people, as the bill is only tailored towards profit maximization for the government and industry players.
As I said a while ago, the bill is tailored towards profit maximization for the government. Because a critical examination of the host community development component shows that it is the status quo, where host communities are made to look like subjects of pity. We must, as a people, go beyond this idea of corporate social responsibility, which is basically acts of goodwill by industry operators to communities. The Niger Delta people are talking about equity participation. We want to be co-owners of an industry that is largely operated in our land, in our backyards. Let us not forget, billionaires are being made every day from the oil industry.
Now, responding to the question of inwardly developing the Niger Delta through economic diversification while looking beyond oil, Honorable Ken further expressed his displeasure at the content of the host community component of the PIB contained in Chapter 3, saying it is the sole responsibility of the government to provide policy and direction for a country.
It's the responsibility of government to provide policies and direction for a country.
True.
I am from the Niger Delta. You are from the Niger Delta. We have a lot of people from the Niger Delta region on various platforms. And who could have conversations, who could think about issues like beyond oil and all that. But the onus is on the government. The ordinary woman, the ordinary young man, the ordinary old man in a community in Delta State, in Bayelsa State, in Akwa Ibom State, in River State, what do you want him to do that has been deprived, that has been reduced to nothing? His means of livelihood has been devastated and decimated, and then he does not even have the resources to feed himself properly, to educate his children in the right way, send them to the best institutions. So how can that kind of a person begin to think beyond oil?
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has, however, assured that the reps will protect Nigeria's interests as well as ensure the Ninth Assembly passes the bill into law. This is your digital-first Pan-African network, TOS TV. You are watching TOS News 360. Stories from the international scene in a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now to developments across Africa, which have it that the continent has secured a further 400 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines as the continent battles a second wave of the coronavirus fueled by the South African variant that the World Health Organization says has become the dominant strand on the continent. The new doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine has been secured through the Serum Institute of India, the African Center for Disease Control and Prevention said on Thursday. Now, with the new doses on top of the 270 million doses announced earlier this month from Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, I think we are beginning to make very good progress in Africa. Africa CDC Director John Nkengasong told reporters. Now, the UN's health agency said the variant was now predominant and powering record cases numbered in South Africa and the sub-region, and had also been found in 24 countries outside Africa. Africa's case fatality rate of 2.5% remains above the global one of 2.2%, and 14 of Africa's 54 countries have case fatality rates above 3%. The continent has more than 3.4 million confirmed virus cases, including more than 87,000 deaths. In East Africa, Burundian President Evariste Ndayishimiye on Thursday ordered its media regulator to resolve differences with sanctioned news outlets. It's a rare sign of outreach by the government of Burundi. The East African nation is ranked amongst the worst countries in the world for press freedom. Burundi has blacklisted several local and foreign news organizations. It has also coerced independent journalists into exile since a major political crisis in 2015. What I am telling you, what I promise you, is that all the difference we have had in the past must be resolved. There are media that have been sanctioned. I am asking the National Communication Council to sit down with these media and find solutions to these disputes so that we can put an end to them once and for all, the president said. Bob Rugurika is the head of African Public Radio, RPA, an independent broadcaster that was set ablaze during the 2015 violence. He welcomed the announcement but hopes that the move isn't a stunt to fool the European Union into lifting sanctions imposed on the country. South Africa wine industry has asked the court to allow the main wine growing region to exempt itself from a ban on the sale of alcohol that was reinstated last month to ease pressure on hospitals during the COVID-19 pandemic. Vinpro, which represents wine producers and sellers, said it had approached the Western Cape High Court to seek interim relief from the ban, which would allow the Premier of the Western Cape to regulate the sale of liquor in the province. Now, Vinpro said the restrictions on alcohol has resulted in the loss of more than 8 billion rand, that's about $524 million in sales, and threatened the closure of sellers and producers. It also warned of a lack of cellar space amid low demand and increased stock ahead of the new harvest season beginning this week. South African Breweries is also challenging the alcohol ban in court. The case is expected to be heard in court next week. Now, away from Africa, where China has warned that attempts by Taiwan to seek independence means war. The warning comes days after China stepped up its military activities and flew warplanes near the island. It also comes after new President Joe Biden reaffirmed his commitment to Taiwan and set out his stance in Asia. The U.S. has called China's latest warning unfortunate, adding that tension did not need to lead to anything like confrontation. China sees the democratic Taiwan as a breakaway province, but Taiwan sees it as a sovereign state. Chinese Defense Ministry spokesman Wong Quang said at a press conference on Thursday. He also defended China's recent military activity, saying they were necessary actions to address the current security situation in the Taiwan Strait and to safeguard national sovereignty and security. The U.S. responded later on Thursday, we find that comment unfortunate. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby told reporters in the first statement by the new administration on China-Taiwan relations. Kirby added that the Pentagon sees no reason why tensions over Taiwan need to lead to anything like confrontation. The new U.S. administration is expected to maintain pressure on China over a wide range of issues, including human rights, trade disputes, Hong Kong and Taiwan, amidst the deteriorating relationship between the two powers. Now, the European Commission has published its contract with drug maker AstraZeneca to buy the company's COVID vaccine amid a rollover supply. Now, the move comes hours after the Commission chief, Ursula von der Leyen, increased pressure on the company over its decision to reduce supplies to the EU. The vaccine is expected to be approved by the EU medicine regulator later. The EU decided to publish the contract to try to back its argument that the company is reneging on its commitment. Large sections of the contract published with the agreement of AstraZeneca have been blanked out, reenacted to protect sensitive information. Now, these include some paragraphs dealing with costs, guaranteed delivery dates, and intellectual property. Following publication, there has been debate over the phrase in the contract which says best reasonable effort. Now, EU officials say AstraZeneca has been asked to send some doses manufactured in the UK to the continent to make up the shortfall, but the company said on Wednesday that its contract for UK supplies prevented this. An EU source familiar with the talks told the BBC that AstraZeneca's UK facilities were obliged to supply vaccine to the EU. This is your digital-first Pan-African network, TOS TV network. You are watching TOS News 360. Still ahead, business, entertainment, and sports. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. In business, the World Bank will commit an additional $15 billion by June 2021 for health and economic recovery as part of its COVID-19 intervention programs. Now, this disclosure was made by the World Bank Group President David Malpass as the virtual meeting on the Africa COVID-19 vaccine financing and development strategy held recently. Now, according to Malpass, I quote, COVID-19 has had a heavy toll on the people of Africa in terms of lives lost and severe economic impact that is hitting the most vulnerable the hardest. Tens of millions of people are falling into extreme poverty. The ongoing loss of human capital will have crippling long-term consequences through loss of jobs and job training opportunities, school closure, missed vaccinations, the regression in health and nutrition, and elsewhere. Now, the World Bank is currently preparing emergency vaccine financing projects in 21 countries in Africa, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Niger Republic, Mozambique, Tunisia, Eswatini, and Cabo Verde, just to name a few. Now, it is pertinent to note that the funds are already available, and for most African countries, the financing would be on grants or highly concessional terms and conditions. Now, Kenya's economy is officially in recession. The latest data has revealed, reflecting the pain unleashed by the global COVID-19 pandemic that triggered a near-complete shutdown of most of the year. Now, fresh economic data released by Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics, the KNBS, yesterday shows that the country has a long way to go before it can start firing at pre-COVID-19 levels, even as the slowing rate of infection offers hope for a quick recovery this year. The KNBS data shows that the economy contracted by 1.1% between July and September last year, making it the second consecutive quarter of gross domestic product GDP shrinkage. Now, the GDP recorded a negative growth of 5.7% in the second quarter between April and June 2020, as the COVID-19 induced shutdowns wreaked havoc on small businesses, forcing closure and massive job layouts. We have now entered 2021 with minimum buffers by private sector actors, households, and even government having eroded part of the shielding in 2020. This makes building back tougher and more risky as we have to be more efficient in the use of resources. The CBK Governor, Patrick Njorji, said in Monetary Policy Committee briefing released on Thursday. Now, the KNBS attributed the negative growth to contraction in manufacturing and distributive trade sectors, which were hard hit by the shutdowns. Now, this was worsened by the significant underperformance in accommodation and food service sectors, as well as the education sector that remains closed since mid-March last year. On the entertainment scene, pioneering Hollywood actress Cicely Tyson, who was known for portraying strong African-American characters, has died at the age of 96, her manager has revealed. Now, no cause of death was given. The former fashion model had a career that spanned 7 decades. Born in New York's Harlem, she was raised by her devout religious parents from the Caribbean islands of Nevis. Now, after being discovered by a fashion editor at Ebony magazine, her modeling career took off. By 1957, she was acting in off-Broadway productions and went on to gain small roles in feature films before she was cast as Portia in The Heart in A Lonely Hunter in 1968. She also became the first black woman to take on a main role in the TV drama East Side, West Side in the 1960s. Presenting Tyson with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, the then U.S. President Barack Obama said that apart from her achievements as an actress, she had also shaped the course of history. Tyson turned down stereotype roles for black women, agreeing only to play characters that were strong, positive, and realistic. I have managed Miss Tyson's career for over 40 years. Each year was a privilege and blessing, her manager Larry Thompson said in Thursday's statement announcing her passing. Now, Cicely thought of her new memoir as a Christmas tree decoration with all the ornaments of her personal and professional life. Today, she placed the last ornament, a star, on top of the tree, the manager said, adding that she died peacefully. And now to sports, where the Japoma Stadium in Douala will host the biggest game of the quarterfinals in the 2021 African Nations Championship this weekend. Finally, some good news for the Democratic Republic of Congo, undermined by 12 players and 3 members of the coaching team testing positive for COVID-19 since the kickoff of the tournament. The Leopards are gradually beginning to see the infirmary empty. Now, the Congolese Federation has said coach Florent Ibenge, goalkeepers Laye Matepi and Guy Serge Mukumi, as well as midfielder Doxa Giskaji, have all tested negative. They were able to take part in the training session held Wednesday in Douala, venue for the quarterfinals slated for Saturday against the host Cameroon. Now, concerning the other 9 players who tested positive, 3 are still in isolation in Yaoundé, while 6 of them are in quarantine in Douala. They would be ready to join their teammates provided they pass a negative test for the coronavirus. It is with a full group of at least 3 players that the Democratic Republic of Congo will face the Cameroonians on Saturday. And that's TOS News 360 on your digital first Pan-African network. For more updates, do visit our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Do follow and like TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube page. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS TV Network. I am Kamyang John. Bye for now.